Mate, what is with all these NRL fantasy podcasts? They all sound the fucking same. Welcome to the echo chamber.
Hello and welcome to round 8 of the NRL Fantasy Echo Chamber. Very high scoring week, lots of thousands running around everywhere. How are you going, JZ?
Pretty good, mate. I was one of the lucky few to hit the 1,000, so I was actually 145th for the round with I think it was 1085 and up into 155th overall. So tracking nicely after the hurdle that was that 5 with Cleary as captain early in the season. So can't be too upset with that.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And how about you, Eddie? How was your week?
Oh, about mid. Like I got a 993, which at first glance sounds pretty good, but I think this week a good score was something over 1,000. Went went up a couple of thousand ranks, so went from very shit to slightly less shit. So I'm sitting at 11,000 now, so I'm gonna need to fucking have a zero off that or two. But hopefully slowly rise. I went up 4 spots in the podcasters league, so I'm not embarrassing myself quite as much now. So we're making some positive moves at least.
Yeah, good stuff. I had a pretty good week. 1033. Did not have Couchman, but most other things went right for me. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. But I've got a lot to deal with this upcoming week because I held some of the guys that went out just to see what was going to happen. Almost certainly going
Who
to have
did you
to
trade
use
in
3.
last week?
I traded in Preston, and I
Nice.
think I reversed my other stuff because of
The
some
AD
late
shit.
news. Yeah, I
Was
think I
that was that?
reversed
Yeah.
Seyfarth to Dewey, and then left it at that pretty much. So I've got a lot to deal with this week.
I did a classic Eddie Pennick fucking. When I saw that the same news you're talking about Dewey, I reversed the trade, and then fucking ended up sort of panic buying Kautoga, which fucking ended up being an awful move. He got 16, and his price rises are getting killed now, and I don't even really feel like I want him anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened, but fucking I'm really glad. Like I've been anti-sweating him for weeks now. I've been like, this guy is rubbish. He's a terrible player. He misses a bunch of tackles. Like all of his cup stats suggest that he sucks, and he just kept punching out 40s. So for him to actually come out and score 16, I feel so vindicated after that.
Fuck, I always react to late news so fucking poorly, eh? Fucking, now I've got fucking stuck with this Kautoga cunt. Fucking,
The only silver
he better
lining.
fucking bounce back. He looks shit. He needs to be on Moses' side and he'll station, I reckon.
Yeah, well, the only silver lining is that might actually happen now with Kelmer being suspended for a few weeks. But man, it was not fun. If he hadn't done that, I would have considered
Nah, man, it
selling.
was gay as.
I would have considered selling this week on the buy if it hadn't been for Tuolagi's suspension.
So I traded gay fast to him. Fucking, so just traded one gay cunt to another. Good way to use trades.
Yeah, how many
Okay,
you
this
guys
isn't the
on
first
now?
time I've penetrated with late news.
No. Yeah, I'm on 27 still, but I'm almost certainly going to use 3. So I've got a few up my sleeve, but yeah, chewing through them.
So I'm on 26. So in probably the quickest form of fantasy karma, I planned on using 0 trades last week. And then within the span of about 48 hours, I lost Harry Grant, Dave Fifita, Jaden Campbell, and Lachlan Hubner get out of HIA. So I ended up using all 3 last week. So I've got 26 left, and I'm using at least 1 this week, maybe 2, maybe even 3, but likely just the 1.
Fuck, I'm definitely using 3.
It's a big moving week this week. It's just about the time where we start to look at other things, and we're forced into it with some of those Campbells and stuff. Although one of the blokes is actually named this week, which is a big surprise to me. We'll get stuck into those team lists, eh?
So
Yeah.
All right. So round 8, Thursday game, we've got the Broncos versus the Bulldogs. This should be a real good game, but I honestly think that the Bulldogs might actually turn this into a wipeout. So For the Broncos, no Reece Walsh with that knee injury. Cobbo has gone to fullback, and Mariner comes in for the wing. Otherwise, they remain pretty much the same. Jack Todd on the Bulldogs side broke his arm and is out. And who comes onto the bench? Is that Bailey Hayward comes back in? Something like that.
Harry Hayes is back. He had an ankle injury the last few weeks.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, the main team is pretty much the same. Preston, is he still going to be right side this week again?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
With Kicks back.
Yeah.
Kicks is a left edge back rower. I think he's kind of like, obviously it played like he had a bigger role seemingly on the left the last few weeks, but I mean, he scored a try last week on the right. His involvement was probably down a bit, but it was a game where a back rower didn't really have to do much, and the fact he even got to 41 tackles in the first place is a bit of a surprise. I brought him in myself, and what is it? 0 negative stats against his name. That's a thing of beauty. I'm used to guys like Greg the Leg who have about 60 in negatives every week. So wheels up on Preston.
Yeah, I think he'll do well no matter what edge he's on. So it's not like Caltoga where fucking if he's not actively being given good ball as a target multiple times a game, then he just doesn't fucking do anything. Preston's not like that. If Preston's not getting fed the ball by his fucking half, he'll go and run next to the ruck fucking and start taking hit ups. Like he'll keep busy.
Yeah. He's good. And probably at this point, with Hudson Young in tip-top form, he's probably not going to make Origin. He's probably thereabouts, but I
Nah, he
don't know
won't.
if he'll make it.
I can't see them not taking Hudson, Angus, and Liam Martin. I mean, I think there's a good chance he's pushed himself in front of Olakuatu, but I don't think Olakuatu's going to make it either.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you've just said there. He's certainly playing better than Hamale at the moment, but Hudson Young's practically the form back row in the competition, and
He
Angus
is. He
Crichton,
100% is.
Angus Crichton
He's
has
been
been one of the
outstanding.
best back rowers of the last decade, and obviously Liam Martin is in the team. And while I don't think he'll play anywhere near 80 minutes on the edge, he'll probably start there as he's done in previous seasons.
Yeah. Third
Yeah, because
double
he
in a
seems
row
to
for
be one of
Hudson.
the leaders in the team, mate.
Yeah, man, Liam Martin. He's a guy where, like, if you were to look at a stat sheet, you'd be like, this cunt sucks. Like, he's terrible. He doesn't really do anything.
He's all about effort plays, eh?
Yeah, you watch him on the field and the stuff like kick pressure. In the grand final last year, I reckon Xavier Coates had nightmares about Liam Martin for weeks after that game. Every time Cleary would put a bomb up and he'd just come full pelt sprinting at Coates as soon as he touched the ground. He even caught one of those bombs and set up Alamotti for a try. He is unreal in terms of effort plays.
He loves a big collision too.
Oh yeah, it's a
Absolutely
wonder he doesn't
fucking
get
loves
concussed more often.
Imagine
because...
if he was fucking the players in the NRL are quite lucky that Liam Martin's not actually particularly big. If he was a bigger man with his attitude, fucking he'd be dangerous.
Yeah, man, he's like a rock, and he just throws himself at people. It's
Yeah. Well,
yeah, crazy.
imagine if he was in like 110, 115 kilo body, but with the same mentality. Fuck that.
He'd have the
Yeah.
Stags fend at bigger and then just belt people over as well.
Yeah, because he really isn't that heavy. He's 100 kilos, which is really not that heavy for a forward.
Nah, he's quite short.
5'11", yeah.
I mean, the only guys he's bigger than is like guys like Murray and shit, which are like notably small.
Yeah, even then, I don't know if Murray's that much smaller than him. A little bit. He's taller than him, but lighter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Bulldogs are a much more relevant team than the Broncos, just to bring it back to on target.
So, yeah, but while we're on the Dogs, a guy I was looking at before last week who went out and fucking scored 80 for like the first time in his life was the big virgin Max King. I noticed during the week he hadn't had any scores lower than 50 throughout the year, and obviously given how much of a shit show front row forward is for the bye rounds, I was pretty keen on looking at him closer to round 12. He's almost priced himself out of that though with that score. He's
I
sitting
think
at like
so.
770k, but I mean, I wouldn't knock any 729, sorry, but I wouldn't knock anyone for looking at him as an option. Unfortunately, I don't know if the timing will really add up given his 87 last week or 86.
Yeah, I owned him for quite a while last year. He's real reliable. Traditionally, he only gets sort of 50 minutes, but this year he seems to consistently get more than that. PPM's never been an issue, so if he keeps maintaining those big minutes, he'll be pretty massive. But I think last week was sort of the price-wise. I think last week was sort of the last sort of price level I'd want to have got him at 730. It's the most expensive he's ever been, and I don't like doing that. Like paying like literally career high amounts for someone, because so often that doesn't work out well.
Yeah, the only time you
Yeah, I
do
mean,
that for forwards is like for somebody like Tarpanay when you know they're just on for a month and you have to jump on.
I was going to
It's a
say like a prime example of that is actually Tarpanay because he's been scoring very well this season, but he also pumped out a 38 this weekend.
just it all just comes down to minutes. If he's 55 plus minutes all the time, then he's going to be a weapon. But he might also just go back to his standard role, which is 45 to 55 minutes on any given week, averaging out at about 50 from 50 minutes. And you don't want to pay 730 for 50 points. It's a bit high for that.
No, and I think a key thing to note about his increased minutes is that Reid Marnie didn't play 80 on the weekend, only 55 minutes. He was someone I was also looking at for Origin, but he might be carrying an injury or something. So I think some of the Dogs' middles in particular had their minutes inflated this week. They're just
I
winning
think,
by so much.
yeah. I think my feelings is basically the same as my feelings were from Tarpany last week. Like, it's just a bit too expensive for what they are historically for me to be comfortable paying.
Yeah.
And what I thought about Tarpany is looking like it was correct as well. And I just hate that to happen with King as well.
Yeah.
But if you really are keen on King and you're sure that he's going to play 55 plus minutes every week, you truly believe in that, then yeah, go for it. Because he'll be a 55-point player if that's the case.
I mean,
So he's
another thing worth noting is that we have a lot of cash this season, and there's not a lot of guys that are super expensive. So there are probably 2 or 3 picks where you can comfortably buy at price, especially if we're going to get guys like Kalen Ponga and Dave Fifita and all that, almost 150, 200k below their starting price. Then that's when you can start going, okay, Max King plays all 3 buys in a position where I have like one player for each buy round at the moment. So I don't hate the idea. I'm not rushing into it this week, but certainly one to consider come round 12.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
hopefully he
might be cheaper then.
drops back a bit by then. He'll probably pop up to mid 700s and then come back. But yeah, if he's got a
Yeah.
7 in front of it, it makes it tougher.
For someone like Max King, I'd feel better paying more like a 680 or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Play, I
The
do
other
like those Carrez. I think I'm going to get him this week.
Yeah, I like Jakey. We were talking about it pre-show. He's someone that you and I both had. You had for the whole season. I had for, I think, 26 out of 27 rounds last year. Just a joy to own in fantasy as long as he stays on the field. Like,
I think
just
he's the most
everything you need.
He's the most fun fantasy player to own, honestly. Just watching him bounce around like a little pinball and checking off these little offloads all the time. It's just a little excitement machine. And this year, fullbacks are not necessarily better than the wingers. Like the fullbacks aren't exactly all carving up. And I expect Carrez to sort of run 200 meters a game, which is sort of the amount that elite fullbacks do anyway. So he's getting the ball as much as the elite fullbacks. So
He's kind
Yeah,
of
he
like
doesn't.
Greg Marju, but can actually catch 4 weeks
he's
out of
like a
5, not 3 or 2 weeks out of 5.
He's like a
Hmm.
Greg Marju, but he stays in form. Because Greg has bad form slumps. Carrez doesn't get those.
I will say Carraz isn't as safe under the high ball as some are. Like he is quite good given how tall he is and that he's a good jumper, but he does have the odd error in him. But yeah, he does everything that you need a fantasy wing fullback or center to have. Big offloader, big tackle buster, decent enough base. My only threat with him is that he is an origin shout with Lomax potentially not making game one. That sort of depends on that news. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Jacob Kiraz. He's fantastic to watch, fantastic to own. And from what NRL physio said, it sounds like he's over whatever sort of injury he had preseason.
Saw that.
And he was actually playing injured last season, which is crazy to think about. So if he's going to be better than last season, then he might be pretty commonly owned.
Yeah, there you go.
Is
Maybe
it
it'll
like
be
he's not
Farnworth levels.
Yeah.
he's not not crazy cheap. He's not far off full price. But assuming he doesn't make Origin, having his quality, DPP, playing all the major buys in a position that's been really cunty. Yeah, mate, I'll have a gamble.
Yeah, that's the only problem, right? Is that you're paying at price for him, but as I sort of just said with Max King, like you're not too worried about doing that. As long as you're not paying too far overs, which he's not, he's kind of at price. But again,
Still sub 650.
Yeah.
He might
Yeah.
be worth 700.
Yeah, he might go up a bit, but yeah, the duel especially makes it nice when we've got guys like Kautoga and others floating around. He's a very good upgrade target. The other dog,
And I know
yeah,
most of us haven't been getting 3 good scores out of our wing fullbacks every week, so it will be nice to
No.
shore that spot up, right?
yeah,
not until this week. Let's go.
Yeah, good stuff. The other Bulldog, I mean, they're the top of the table. They're 4 points clear at the moment, so they're very fantasy relevant, scoring points. And Matt Burton is another one to add to that. Comeback game on the weekend, but didn't really do everything that we wanted. But still managed to get a decent score. If he gets goals fully back and kicks a little bit more as he warms back into it, I mean, I see no reason why he's a really good buy.
Yeah, I've been watching him and considering him for ages. Don't know if I'll fully end up. I thought I was 100% certain, but then last week I ended up getting Fogarty, so that might stop me from getting Burden. But I think he's a good pickup. I
Yeah.
don't know when. I don't know if it's this week or another week. I think he will get his goal kicking duties back. His running game looked sharp. He made a few errors which held him back a little bit, but he's playing good attacking footy. And I do think, though, that he's not going to dominate the kick meters as much as he did last year. I think Sexton's a bit more out of the bag now, and I can't see Sexton going back to only kicking 150 meters a game, etc. So I think there might be a relatively even split with the kick meters there.
Yeah, well, when Sexton kicked 1,000 meters to break the record a couple of games ago, you thought, oh, hang on, this bloke actually can kick. So Burton, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 60-40 instead of like 20-80 like last year.
It won't be 2080.
No way.
No way. Look, I think Burton is going to be a great buy. You'd want to see him have the goal kicking. As Eddie said, he had a pretty bad game, in all honesty, against South. Return game, like he had a few line breaks, but he bombed like 3 or 4 tries on the weekend.
He was dangerous. He was playing well. He just made a few mistakes. I think it was like 4 errors or something. But outside of those things, he was very good.
Most of those errors were in try scoring opportunities, though, unfortunately. Which, to be fair, the whole game was played in South half. So, I mean, look, he's a player with a ton of upside, and I think I made this case the other week. Is when you're in a side that is just winning every game and you're doing it comfortably, you just, I don't know, it's almost like a momentum buff where guys that aren't that amazing just start playing out of their skin. And I think that could happen with someone like Burton, where if the Dogs keep toweling up sides and their attack will get better because it's still not there yet. As their attack gets better, that's when guys like Burton benefit. And so as long as he gets the goal kicking back, 100%. As long as he gets the goal kicking back, he's a red hot buy. I think he's great.
Oh, absolutely.
Break
Especially
even
now
in the
that
low
he's 641k, so very shortly. Like if he gets the goals back this week after he plays the Broncos, I would be very tempted to look at him, especially with those 3 potential major round coverage.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk anyone out of getting him now because it is a good price, but he's break even in the low 60s. My preferred move would be just to watch another week and then take it from there. But yeah, I think he's
That's what Scoop said,
pretty good price. Yeah.
after he gets past the Broncos. But no, I agree. Well, wait one more week. If he gets goal kicking back, I wouldn't hate to just go straight for him next week, to be honest.
Broncos not so relevant.
No, well,
Yeah,
Walsh is
it's pain.
down and injured. Piakura returns on the bench, so he's still there. Haas is still doing Haas things, but he's not as red hot as early in the year when he was offloading everything and stuff. I think May and Cleary are equally as good or better for captaincy options at the moment. And really,
Oh,
I mean, half the guys that you would otherwise own are approaching peak price, like Shibasaki.
I was very annoyed when Reece Walsh put that ball out on the full and extra time. I had Haas captain, and I was like, sweet, extra time, here we go. Another like 10 points for him. And then the very first play of extra time, he puts it out on the full and Metcalf kicks it from halfway. Mate, I was absolutely fuming. And while you can't really complain too much about a 73 as captain, like, Jesus, he certainly went back to form a bit in that game, though. Scoring over 1 ppm, only got the 60 minutes. I'd probably think, as Scoop said, he might be the worst of the three captaincy options, just given he has that fluctuation in his minutes. Like some weeks he's playing 50, some weeks he's playing 70. It's all guesswork at the moment. Whereas May seems to be playing like 70 at a minimum with 80 minutes in really close games. So I'd definitely lean May or Cleary over Haas at the moment.
Well, just May, you definitely know you're getting 65 plus mins a week, without a doubt. Yeah, just get on.
Yeah. I don't think there's really anything else relevant other than if Piakura ends up starting eventually, he might be a disgusting cash down option, but until then, leave it.
Yeah, he
I'm
doesn't
not
fill you with
sitting there
joy.
with bated breath.
No. He's like a Riley Smith from a couple of weeks ago. It's like, oh yeah, I guess he's scoring 25 in 50 minutes, but you don't really want to buy him. All right. So,
That's about it from this game.
yep. Drags v Roosters at Allianz at 4 o'clock on Friday. Couple differences for this Roosters side. We have Billy Smith coming back into the centres. I mean, how can you drop him after that? A really good return game. Nwanga Nitawaze does push to the wing, and Dom Young goes to the reserves. Nat Butcher is out injured, and Egan Butcher makes an appearance on the interchange. So, quite interesting ones there. On the Dragons side, we have Sione Finau on the wing again. Dylan Egan sitting on the bench, but who knows? He'll probably switch around and start again. Hamish Stewart is out. Was that concussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Feagai out. So that's pretty much the changes there. I was one that did hold Nwanga Nitawaze and got mid-50s out of him last week, so I was pretty chuffed with that. It is.
I was proper worried at halftime. I think he was on about 44. And I was sitting there thinking, this guy's going to come out and score an 80. The one game I don't own him without a try. And thank God for that second half. I was 56 is a lot easier to swallow than like a 70 plus from a guy that looked like he was close to putting scores like that together, but never quite got there.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does on the wing this week, or
I think he'll
plays.
be better.
I don't think so. I think his real strength, at least from a fantasy perspective, and it's not defense, I promise you that, it's him putting over his winger for tries with that flick pass. Like he's got a very, very nice flick pass. And while he probably still will offload and tackle bust on the wing, I don't think he'll get as many try assists and line break assists that he had in the centers. So it limits him a bit. You'd hope that the amount of tries he scores makes up for that, but they don't really attack right that much, especially with someone like Zavala, who is basically just playing like a kicking bot at the moment, whereas Sandon Smith is getting the better ball close to the line. It's why Mark had so many attacking stats in the left center.
Who do you think will score more out of Savannah and Sandon this week? It seems pretty tight, right?
Zavala, I reckon. I just think he's got. I was saying to you before the show, he's a guy that has a running game. We haven't seen it in first grade just yet, because he's just sort of his job's obviously to kick the side around the park. Almost 500 kick meters 2 weeks in a row, but he has a running game. He can bust tackles. He's a big bloke. Once he sort of finds his way in first grade as a 7, I think we'll get to see that a bit more. And even without that, I mean, 2 weeks in a row of 24 tackles and 15 points in kick meters. So that's 40 in base right there. Obviously, he's got some negatives, but I think the upside with him is massive. And Tandon scored 3 tries this season. I don't think he's cracked a 50 yet. So I'd go Savala.
Yeah,
Fair
best
enough.
cash down this week too. Very easy. His break even's down now.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
down
down
to
to
13.
13. Mighty.
Just hope he holds a spot for long enough. It's not great when you get flogged.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Chad's the answer.
No. I think Chad's days in the NRL are pretty much numbered. It- Speaking of that, though, was it the fact that the Panthers suddenly realized they are actually good again, or the Roosters being bad? How much do you reckon that factored into it?
Oh, Penrith definitely woke up. They definitely woke up a bit. I don't know if that
They-
means they're going to be like fucking super dominant Penrith anymore, but I think they're going to stop being useless sacks of shit now.
Yeah, especially on the edges, they seemed like they had their shit together way more. Like people weren't missing their lines, and Blaze actually had a pretty good game on the weekend. Sorensen threw like a amazing flick pass, like one of the best passes I've seen from a second row, maybe ever. And they just looked a lot cleaner, like a lot more clinical, a lot more like Penrith of old. Whether that means they're back or not, I don't know. But I think they're playing Manly this weekend, and that's a weird matchup. I don't know how to tip that one. Like Manly had a couple wins over Penrith, even when Penrith were really good, and Turbo's back this week. So I don't know what to make of Penrith until they do it a couple times. I'm not convinced they're quite back yet.
Whites and Wong a bit, but mostly Whites. Is he gonna continue to get solid minutes now with Nat Butcher out for a while again, or is he just gonna plod along and probably I don't know. He feels like somebody that you'd like to carry through until the Roosters buys, the major buys end, but I do worry if he's going to be that high quality. He's a very good forward, but will his scoring quite make it?
Yeah, he'll be good enough to hold through the buys.
I think so too. I mean, man, I was actually genuinely concerned during this game that he was going to play 80 minutes. He didn't even really look tired when he came off. Like the guy has clearly gone up another level this year. He's been playing very, very good footy. I don't see why his minutes would drop to below 50. And if he's playing 50, he's not the most exciting hold over Origin, but he certainly covers a lot of bases in some very important positions. Like we
Oh,
said before, there aren't a
very,
lot of mids, and he plays all 3 buys. So
yeah,
I'd
very
hold him
valuable
if I had
with
him.
that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Look, it feels like everybody's worried about his minutes all fucking year, and he's just delivered pretty much every week. Fucking, what's he averaging now? What he
Minutes
No,
wise
is
or
I,
average wise?
See, yeah,
I,
he's averaging 52, so yeah, he's doing fine. It's 634. I think he'll just sort of swing around that 650 sort of mark all the time between here and the end of the buys. One way or another, that can't generally gets enough minutes to do well. It's
it's
you come across enough problems in fantasy without fucking creating non-existent problems in your mind.
No,
Yeah.
exactly right. And I think until you start seeing him play 40 minutes, you shouldn't be worried about him playing 40 minutes because even in round 1, he played 48 minutes. That's his lowest minute game. So, yeah, we'll cross that bridge if it comes. If he starts playing
And
30 to 40 minutes, then sure, but I can't see that happening.
that's never going to happen. I think worst case scenario would be between now and the end of the buys, he averages 45. And considering he plays in all the major buys, that wouldn't even be the fucking end of the world. Not every player has to be making you money 24/7. Like,
Yeah.
you can sit on a guy like that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's nothing to worry about.
I suppose I probably just need to worry less about minutes if the players just are good. Directly opposite him this week, Toby Couchman, another guy that I've had that exact same thought in my head, except I don't own him. And man, he's hurt. 80 this week. Or
I finally
81,
got him
didn't he?
last week. Finally.
Yeah.
I'd thought about it for like 2 weeks. Like, I was just so late to the party. But, oh, man, I guess I got in there just in time in the end.
Yeah, look, what is there to say about Toby Couchman? He's a beast. Like, he's made 222k since round one, which is absolutely insane. Can't believe you guys were trying to tell me Seyfarth was more of a buy than Toby Couchman preseason.
Yeah, he was the real 20 points.
Yeah, and look, he doesn't look like he's slowing down. If anything, he's started picking up offloads. Last 3 games, 3 offloads, 3 offloads, 2 offloads, and we're starting to see the PPM beast that Toby Couchman is, and I don't see it slowing down. Georgia winning games while he's playing big minutes, and he looks fantastic. So I'd be more worried about him playing State of Origin than I would be him losing like a 55-minute role.
But I'm not worried about that either.
No, I'm not hugely worried about it.
No, you can't be worried about every good Australian player. It's half the comp. Like.
No,
Nah.
exactly right.
Not when there's like 250 players that play most weeks.
Exactly. There is one. Why does St George keep naming Dylan Egan on the bench? I don't understand when teams do this. There's a chance that Gula starts as well. He started every other game he's played for Saints this season, so it kind of shits me a bit when coaches do this. And when we get to the Titans, well, the same thing can be said about Fifita in the 14 jersey, who he was meant to be out for a month, but now he's magically back in the team 7 days later. I just don't understand it. In a sport where you're trying to promote things like fantasy, just make it easy for the fans. I don't think any of us would be shocked when come 3:00 Anzac Day, Dylan Egan will be starting in the back row.
No, I'm expecting it.
It's been pretty bad this year. Even with stuff like concussions, it's been like this player's ruled out with category 1, and then 2 days later they come out and it's like, oh no, they've got an application to downgrade it to a category 2, so they're actually allowed to play this week. And somewhere they didn't actually go off at all. It's been a real mess this year, actually.
Yeah, well, Terrell May probably should have come off for a HIA against Parramatta. First tackle of the game, gets shouldered in the head by Tuolangi, is clearly at least dazed, not even a penalty, and then the next day Tuolangi suspended for 3 weeks. How does that work?
I don't know. It's just a bit all over the place at the moment. It's like the high tackle crackdown that lasts for the first 3 games of the week and not the last half of the week.
Don't get me started on the James Schiller sin bin. That is the biggest joke of the weekend. I can't believe he got binned for crazy.
But yeah, they're pretty much the only Dragons you want to own at the moment, Couch and Egan.
Yeah, the only other relevant one's Holmes, but he'll be playing Origin, and yeah, wouldn't go there.
Yep.
No.
Absolutely. All right. Warriors v Knights on Friday. On the Warriors side, we have a pretty similar looking team. Aaron Clark's still in the 13. Barry's back at the centres. Kate Wilson at the edge. Halasima's bench. So that was possibly what we suspected, and I didn't think of the other week. With Ketwell back in the edge. On the Knights side, we have Tyson Gamble still in the 7, but Cogger is in the reserves. Dylan Lucas is returning in jersey number 11, and Thomas Cant goes to the bench. So, a couple changes. JZ, how keen are you to grab Dylan Lucas straight away from coming up from a hamstring injury?
Not very is my answer because we've got Bo Firma, who's basically the same player, but 90k cheaper, I think. So the thing with hamstring injuries, and I'm just parroting NRL physio, is that they have the highest chance at recurring 1 to 2 weeks after the player's return. So I'm just going to play it safe there. If he comes out and scores a 90, so be it. But he's priced at basically what he's going to average at this point. And off the back of a hamstring injury, when I already have 2 Newcastle players, I'm going to wait and see. He's obviously an absolute jet throughout the buys, and just in general, he's a season-long keeper. But I'm leaning more towards Firma at the moment.
I'm very, very heavily considering getting back on him. I had him at the start of the year. I was very sad when he went down. I think he'll average mid-50s. I think he's priced about 52. I know Firma's a bit cheaper, but I like the fact that Lucas has no buys until round 18, whereas Firma's got one in round 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a valid
And
point.
I also just like him more than I.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of this, and I think a big thing that I'd love to go into detail on sometime is trade efficiency. And so when I look at my team for round 12 at the moment, I've already got Rob Toyer, who I know I'm not trading out until after the bye rounds. Got Tamale, who's at least going to be in my team until round 12, who I think I'm going to put in the centers. So I have Sharp and Marzu, who are already my round 12 wing fullbacks, with an eye on getting Teddy as my third. So that leaves me with already basically a back 5 planned out for round 12, which is why Dylan Lucas isn't as important for me. Whereas if you are someone who doesn't have Sharp or Marzu and you have Ponga instead, then I think Lucas is a way better option, because you can play him in the centers and have no issue with inefficiency in terms of your team.
Who are your what second rows do you have?
I have Preston and Wilton at the moment.
Oh, yeah. So you think you'll carry Wilton the whole way through?
I'm looking into options for what I could do at the moment. I'm not in love with any of the second row options that play 12. Lucas is a decent shout, but then I have the same issue in round, I think it's 15, the second buy is, where, I mean, I still just have Wilton and Preston who are both playing that round, and I still have Toya and Marzu and Sharp who all play that round as well. So I'm definitely considering that. But like I said, Firma will be in my team either this week or next week. So he plays round 15, I believe. So I don't know. It's something to think about with Teague, because Egan and Preston will likely be my back rowers in round 12 and not Teague. So I'm not against the idea of Lucas. I just think it's a bit inefficient in terms of my team at the moment.
Fair enough. There's a good chance I'll end up with Bo Firma in a week or two as well. So we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty fucking keen to get Lucas, man. I love watching him play.
Yeah.
Still under 700.
If that opens up the left side attack again, it'll be really juicy. I'm excited to see what it can do for Marju, and I guess you are for Sharp as well.
He'll play 80, right? I think so.
Probably. I mean, with the amount of work that he does, he can probably just go through the middle.
Yeah, well, he will, because they've got a hooker on the bench, and then the other 3 will cover middle positions. I imagine he's going to be playing, I don't know, 30 minutes off the bench covering Croker or something.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Croker's not playing 80 minutes.
No, definitely not.
Sorry, are we talking about the Knights forward minutes? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a reasonable chance that one of Lucas and Pierce Paul don't play 80 minutes with Kant in the side. There's a good chance Kant just plays middle as well, but I think given the way we've lined up, Crossland might play some 13, which leaves I don't think both back rows will play 80. I don't know which one won't. I'd like to think it's Pierce Paul, but maybe given Lucas is coming back off a hammy injury, they might ease him into it a bit more.
Yeah, there is an argument to wait a week on Lucas. His break even's 40, so as long as he doesn't go massive, he won't get too much more expensive.
Yeah, brilliant player though. Like I really enjoy watching him, and I think having
Same.
him back in the side will help Newcastle greatly. Hopefully, we get a win.
Oh, massively. But yeah. Um, on for Pierce Paul himself, he had a real good score last on the weekend, but he's kind of just falling in that bracket of just below the guys that you'd want to have in your final team or to go through Origin with. So for those who started with him, good, but otherwise, probably not as high on my list as like a Preston or some of the others anyway.
Nah, I'd way rather Preston than him.
Yeah, obviously you'd rather Preston, but I think everyone is going to have Preston. But Clive Pierce-Paul is your second edge forward. Take away that sin bin, and he hasn't scored below 50 this year.
Yeah,
And
I'd wait.
he seems to have found an offload.
I'd still rather Lucas. I just trust him more.
Yeah, good stuff. For the Warriors, Aaron Clark is named. If
Why wouldn't
he's
he be?
Yeah, didn't he pick up like an injury or something or a knock?
I don't think so.
Yeah, must be
Wasn't that
imagining.
Egan picked up a knock? So I didn't watch the game between the Broncos and Warriors, but Egan didn't play 80 and Clark had 60 minutes. So I can only assume that Clark played some time at hooker during that game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, where he's priced at now, about priced at 43, about 535k. If that was inflated, he's probably too much to look at.
Not touching him. I think he's very much. He's not as bad a footballer as Seyfarth, but he's still not a very good footballer in my eyes. And he needs to do what he has never done in order to be worth trading in. It's a long time before round 12 still. And so getting someone like Clark who could just plod around early 40s for a few weeks just for one round in the buys, I don't love it.
I think you underrate him, bro. I've been watching the Warriors, and I think he's looked fucking pretty good this year, man.
Entirely possible. Like I've
He's
been
been
wrong
consistent.
before.
He's been our biggest meter eater all year. Played with good energy. He's doing a few offloads, sort of with tackle busts, showing good footwork. He's been fucking arguably our most consistent forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's no knock on his stats and what he's doing for the Warriors at the moment. It's just with guys like
On the eye
this
test as well.
who haven't done it over their career, and they're
Yeah.
he's like mid to late 20s at this point. It's so rare that someone takes that next step up at that stage of their career.
That's true. Any time when he's been playing lock for reasonable minutes, he has gone at this sort of PPM though. This is just the first time when he's like had the lock role like to himself, which he will continue to do so. I can't see anyone taking the 13 off him all year.
Yeah, I agree with that. But do you think that then means he's going to play 60 minutes every week as opposed to the sort of 40 to 49?
I think it's going to be more like 50.
Yeah, I think it'll be between 45.
I definitely don't think it'll be 60.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is a PPM guy though, so I could definitely see him averaging about 48. But yeah, he's more 5 points value than 10. But he is very hooker and mid are the two most difficult positions for round 12, and he does play both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't knock him for round 12. He's obviously a good option. It's just having to carry him until round 12 when we have so many good mids at the moment. I lean more towards picking up the mids in that round rather than preparing for it. Just say that 3 times quick.
Yeah.
Because when we have guys like May and Haas and Couchman and Horse and Yo, like some teams are already so stacked that buying someone like Aaron Clark doesn't really make sense at this point in time. Not saying that he's not a bad option, but I mean, mid is the strongest position in fantasy outside of the buy rounds.
Yeah. Last week when he was 540, it's a lot nicer than 577 too, right?
100%. I mean, that's what threw me off Siwa Wong when he was at that similar price, is that's already like a 44, 43. And even just making money, like one bad score completely.
So I think he's a pretty good option as a round 12 by cover, but he's by no means a must-have. He's someone that I've been considering though, and I haven't ruled out getting him yet. So I definitely wouldn't talk anyone out of it. I think he's a pretty good pickup. I mean, he hasn't scored less than 40 playing at lock this year either, and including 350 pluses in the last 3 games. 28 tackles, 156 meters, 2.6 tackle busts, and 1.2 offloads. Solid.
But yeah, that's enough about Aaron Clark. Let's have a look at the Friday games: Storm v Rabbitohs. Couple of changes with Jack Howarth out after dislocating his
He
shoulder.
can fuck off. He's fucking out of my team. Fuck, he was I can't believe I bought that cone in round 3. One of that and the Kautoga trade are my 2 trades that I've regretted so far this season. Fuck. If you've got him like me, just get rid of him. Fucking the experiment's over.
Yeah, well, he's probably gone for most of the season anyway.
Yeah. Party's time.
Which is a shame.
Party's over.
He was scoring pretty well last week before he did his shoulder, and then this matchup is the most one-sided matchup in the NRL. I think Rabbitohs have an 18% win rate against the Storm, and they've never won in Melbourne. So this doesn't bode well for the Rabbitohs, who just got flogged by the Dogs.
No. Well, they do have a couple changes which are interesting. Trell goes to fullback, Gray to bench, Campbell Graham moves back to the centres, Bentley Haype is on the wing, Aitken goes from the centres to second row, but yeah, not too many changes except as in people wise, other than Hubner being out and Jai Arrow is locked. But yeah, Hubner will just be a 1 week thing, hopefully with the concussion. He's a hold though, because he's got more money to make. It's just annoying that he keeps getting interrupted.
Yeah, it is annoying. But yeah, I'll be holding.
Yeah, I think he is one of the best mids during the bye period, and like not due to any other players going to Origin or anything, but the lock spot's clearly his. With Murray being out for the season, and there was some news that he had a hiccup in his recovery as well, so no real risk to his role unless Jai Arrow is a lock long term, but I think he'll just move to prop when Hubner's back. I'm not one, obviously don't know better than Wayne Bennett, but Jai Gray's been the best player in your team for the first 7 rounds. So to bench him is a little harsh. Even last week, I think if he's not playing, they probably lose that game by 50 points. So that's an interesting decision.
Wonder what they'll do with him when they bring him on. Will they just have him running around in the middle? Because he can't defend in the middle, you wouldn't have thought.
No, you'd think Latrell
He's
goes
so
to the
small.
front line, right? Like, surely.
But I can tell you right now that Trell can't handle tackling it fucking in the middle fucking for long. That's not going to fucking
No,
work.
but someone like Whiten could. Like, maybe they move Whiten towards the middle. And
Yeah,
tell him
Whiten definitely could. Trell just wouldn't. It
No.
just means that you wouldn't be defending in the middle properly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's-
you're right. I'd be interested to see how they use them. It might be sort of like, do you remember when Pappy was on the bench for the Storm back before he nailed down the starting fullback gig? And he just used to sort of just come on and run around in the middle. And I assume Pappy wasn't defending in the middle either, though. So they'll probably just do something like that. Because I don't think they're just going to use him for like 15 minutes or something. Surely they've got to give him more than that.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, like I just said,
fucking
he's been
deserves
the
it.
best player. He's been one of the best players in the whole competition, not just for South Sydney. He's been unreal.
Yeah, he was like leading like Dally M race and shit. I don't know if he still is. He was at one point though.
No, well, Kennedy is now, I think.
Oh, fuck up.
I'm not even joking.
No.
I did see that.
That just pisses me off.
Yeah. Bad news for Pappenhausen, though, with Nick Meaney back. You'd assume he takes the goal kicking back off him. I was pretty high on Pappy as a short-term play, and I think if Jaden Campbell was ruled out before Melbourne played the Dolphins, there was a good chance I would have done that trade instead of Fletcher Sharp.
Pappy's just a cut below. He's just not quite it.
Well, not with goal kicking. I mean, as long as he goal kicks, he's fine. But
Oh,
I
but that
think
was no
Meany back,
factor,
they're
yeah.
going to take it. Yeah. Hughes is getting super cheap. Munster, I'm holding him one more week. If he can't do it against Souths, he's gone next week for me. I think that's about it.
Well, he's not going to be in anyone's team by the time round 12 kicks off, so anytime you want to get rid of him from now on's fine.
Yeah. Eli Katoa had a real shocker of a game fantasy-wise last week. So watch him to lose a bit of cash, hopefully. He might be one to pick up soon. He was one of the best back rows in fantasy last year. No reason why he can't do it again.
Him and Hughes, they'll be very good buys at some point. I do wonder how high Hughes' ceiling is. I mean, we always knew he was going to come back a little after winning the Dally M, but yeah, Munster's doing a lot except for running and tackle breaking.
Yeah, he's
Well,
doing a
Hughes
lot.
isn't
It's
gonna-
just not fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
Hughes isn't fucking finished losing money yet anyway. So we'll wait till his break even gets lower than his average before we worry about him, I reckon.
Yeah,
If he was still cheap at round 13, that would be real fucking handy.
I think there's a good chance he will be. I mean, South is obviously a good matchup, but then Canberra next week. Tigers a pretty good one.
Well, his break even's fucking massive.
It's 65, I think. So it's getting
69.
it's within the realms of possibility for him to hit that though. Like he had a
Well,
97 last year.
It's 69. His average is 35.4, so it's like double his average. So definitely not there yet.
Yeah, but he's not cheap like Walsh was cheap, right? It's not because his form's fallen off a cliff. It's because he's been injured and played half games and stuff. So, while I agree with what Scoop said, I think Munster's taking a lot of the playmaking away from him, whereas he was doing it all last year. Certainly one to look out for in the short term.
Yeah, just don't buy him this week.
Yeah, agreed.
He hasn't got a 50 this year.
No, but 46 and 59 minutes against Para and 44 and 69 against Manly.
Yeah, and they weren't expecting the Dolphins to flog them either, which was interesting.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Herbie Farnworth is just such a jet.
Fuck, he is, though. He's ridiculous.
Just one of my favorite players in the competition. Like, so good.
So there's not really anyone to buy in this game.
No, does Latrell back at fullback interest either of you?
Not even a little bit.
I think there's a chance he picks up the kick meters he was doing last year with Sullivan and Walker in the halves. There's a chance that he's that sort of player that he was last year in the sort of middle of the season where he was kicking for 300 meters a game while also like terrorizing sides.
Yeah.
742k, break even of 76. Coming into Origin, nah.
I mean, I'm not doing it against Melbourne, but he's certainly someone to at least consider.
There's probably like 4 or 5 players that will get cheap and that will desperately want to buy and will be able to do like maybe 2 of them or so. Yeah, he probably goes onto that list. But yeah, that's pretty much it though for that game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dud.
Yep. All right, Cowboys versus Titans. We don't have too much happening on the Cowboys side, except for John Bateman's back from an infection. Nanai is starting instead of O'Donnell, but the team remains largely pretty similar. For the Titans, Khaleesi Haas is out, and a surprise name of Fifita again on the bench. So a lot of us reverse placed him
with Chris Randall starting in the end.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I just don't.
How is Chris Randall at edge?
He's not, but I love Des Hasler because he's just he's an absolute maniac. He does shit like this where you just know they're not going to run out this way until they do, and then it's game day and Chris Randall's playing back row and your best player's on the bench. It's really strange. He was meant to be out for 4 weeks, and he was named like 5 days later. So I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if he'll start. I don't know if he'll only play 50 minutes. I don't know if he'll play 20, 30 minutes. Like it is anyone's guess. I still own him. I'm obviously not trading him with him back in the team, but he'll be in my loop spot. I'm not playing him straight up.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if he's named to start in the end? Surely then you'll play him.
Yeah, look, if he's named to start, I'm probably going to play him. But
Yeah.
if he's still on the bench, he'll be in my loop.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Would you buy him if he started?
That's a tough question. I'm glad it's not a decision I have to make.
I kind
because
of want to, but I mean, I just got Preston, so probably not. I'm probably going to look at my centers and stuff.
It's such a massive upside play. And look, the thing I am hoping for, as someone who bought him 2 weeks before he got injured, is he comes out and scores another like 70 plus, and everyone else is too worried because his hamstring injury and his minutes have been all over the shop and whatever. And so everyone's too afraid to buy him. He comes out, posts another big score. He's 700K next week, and no one wants to touch him. So that's best case scenario for me.
I don't know. I'll have a think. I could be interested in him if he starts. He's very exciting.
He plays game 5, I think.
It's a bit
it is a bit
awkward.
on the late side.
And there aren't too many relevant players after this game that you'd consider buying.
Nah, not really.
Nah,
Yeah.
because by that, you could pivot to Firma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But apart from if you didn't want Firma or already had Firma, obviously that wouldn't work. But that's probably the only name I could think of that you'd want to pivot to from here, because the guys we talked about before that I like have already played at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get Fermor, it makes it a little harder to get Fifita as well, because
You
that's
can't. You don't
another
want to get
forward.
both of them.
No, it's another
It's
forward that doesn't play round 12.
Yeah, it's another. Yeah, how many? You do want to be careful what non-cashy round guys that don't play round 12 you bring in now, and just make sure that you're not fucking stockpiling a bunch of keeper level players that aren't in round 12, and then you come to round 12 and you can't put together 13, and you're sitting there going, oh, but I don't want to trade any of these guys, they're all keepers. And that's what's going to happen if we load up on too many guys like Fifita and Fermor and co.
Yeah, I will say that Fifita's Origin schedule's pretty good, though, if he even makes a team. Like, we know Billy Slater doesn't love him. But I think the Titans only play the one major buy round from memory. So it's not too much of a punish. For me, I know when it comes to round 12, I'll be trading out Nathan Cleary because he misses round 11 and round 12. And then I think after round 12, Penrith go from Origin in Perth to playing the Warriors in New Zealand. So I think he's long odds to back up from that game as well. So it's just about picking which Origin guys you're going to keep in your side. With Harry Grant doing his hammy, and then I got rid of him last week.
Oh, so what? So a couple of days after playing in Origin, he would have to be on a flight to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll even be on the fucking plane, let alone playing, bro.
Well, exactly, and that's something you sort of need to.
I think he'll literally stay in Australia.
Maybe. It's Sunday. Oh no, they play Para. It might be one of the other buy rounds. But yeah, it's round 16. He plays the Warriors in New Zealand on a Saturday after Origin.
We'll see. We'll worry about that fucking later.
Yeah, but these are the things, like when we talk about planning for buys, that you need to consider, right? Like, I think Terrell May and Payne Haas will both absolutely back up. Their sides need them to. Cleary, his side might need him to, but given his history and the fact that he got injured backing up, I don't know if it was last year or the year before where he did his hammy, I think they're going to be overly cautious with him and they won't rush him back in. So it's about picking the sort of Origin guys that you want to have still in your side around round 12 to...
Just looking now, I think Cleary will back up in 13, but yeah, I think you're right. I can't see him playing the Saturday game in New Zealand. That just won't happen, I don't think.
Yeah. If that happens that way, he'll have played 2 matches across 6 weeks, which is not something you want on your team.
Yeah.
Mm.
Food for thought.
Yeah, definitely.
back on topic a bit. So with this game, Titans Cowboys, I am very, very high on Scott Drinkwater. I think he is one of the buyers of the week. He doesn't have the sort of origin cloud over his head that Teddy has. And while I think Dylan Edwards sort of put an end to that discussion when they played this week, I still, something tells me that Teddy might play origin either way. Edwards might cop a small knock or something, or Laurie Daly might love Tedesco, and so enter Scott Drinkwater, right? He's a guy that has averaged, I think, close to 49, 48 the past few seasons, and this year he's picked up goal kicking, and he's someone that traditionally dominates the origin period, even though the Cows only play, I think they play the last two buys actually. So
Yeah, they do.
you could make an argument for picking him up in round 13, but for me, I think having he really firms up my wing fullbacks, and he's got Titans this week who have a billion players out, and a couple of okay matchups heading into the Origin period. So Drinkwater's someone who's always done real well for me around this time of year, so I'm back on that, and he's got goal kicking to boot. So I'm a
Yeah,
big
I
fan.
always tend. I always tend to get him about this time of year as well. Usually, when I do it, his price has got a 5 in front of it, though. It's just a bit more than that this year. But
Yeah, I
I'd be
think
more
that's.
keen if he played round 12. I think.
I also
Yeah.
think a lot of the reason why he hasn't tanked price is that he has been goal kicking this year. So it hasn't
Yeah.
made a massive, massive difference, but it's helped his floor out a bit. And it looks like he's playing a bigger role at the Cowboys this year.
Well,
As
it
much
gives him an
as
extra, and it gives him an extra 5 points a game.
Yeah. He hasn't
Yeah,
scored
no,
a try for the last 4 weeks as well, and the last three scores have been 62, 47, 55. So, yeah, that's actually not a bad shout, to be honest. Fletcher Sharp plays 10 weeks in a row until his next bye in round 18, and Drinkwater only has one bye between now and round 27 because they're the team this year that misses the last week.
yeah. So that's why for me, Drinkwater makes a lot of sense. And almost every player you buy at this stage, you have to think like, how are they going to fit into your buy plans? Even whether it's the minors or the majors. Like for me, I know I'm going to have Greg, I'm going to have Fletch, I'm going to have Tamale. So I can afford to pick up a guy like Drinkwater who doesn't play 12, sorry, but he plays 15 and 18. And so I can hold him. He'll play all the minors. I assume he's going to start averaging a bit better than he's scored so far this year. And the Cows are starting to get into form. So I think now is as good a time as any to pick up someone like Drinky.
Yeah, it's fair. Decent pickup. I think I'll just hopefully get him in round 13, and hopefully he's not too expensive at the time. But I can see
Hopefully
why
it's
you've got him now.
800k.
Yeah,
100
hopefully
against the
not that
Titans
much.
this week, I think.
Yeah. If we're on the subject, because we've touched on a few, if we're on the subject of really cheap guys who are probably going to miss a bunch of matches with Origin and stuff or Fallen Guns, Nanai starting is mildly interesting at 430k, but have to see a score from him in good minutes first.
Yeah. I don't know if he plays. He probably does play 80. I think Bateman might lose some minutes, but he's just not that exciting, is he?
He's not
If
the
it
caliber
was
of player that I want to bring into my team.
if it was round 4 or 5, maybe, but round 8, I'm a lot less excited by it.
Yeah, especially because we've got such strong teams this year because of the good cash generation.
Well,
Hmm.
if I bought him, I don't even like. Would he even be making my 17? Like, am I buying an emergency?
No, he wouldn't. Well, he shouldn't be in your 17. Maybe in
Exactly,
place of someone like Cubner.
and who the fuck's paying 400 plus grand for someone they're bringing into the emergencies? You just don't do that shit.
All right. This last Saturday game, Panthers versus Seagulls. We have Luke Garner and Mitch Kenny out. Concussion for Garner, and Kenny is suspended. So we have Tango back in the centres, Alamotti wing. Jenkins is officially named wing instead of switching. And we have no competition for Scott Sorensen on the edge. Well, unless IPAP goes there. For the Sea Eagles, Tommy Turbo returns, and that pushes Hopewade back to the wing. We also are missing Toff Sipley, and I think That's yeah. Talau goes to the bench basically, so not too many differences there. But yeah, Panthers looked a lot more together last week. So Cleary,
Yeah.
that's going
So
to
let
be
me
one of the
just.
best scores without like a line break or assist and stuff. Hey,
You'd think so. It's like no proper try involvements, right? Through a lot of offloads.
yeah,
But
I think you got a couple of turnover tackles, so they're what, 4 points each, are they?
yeah, they seem to be a bit of a bloody lucky dip at this point. Like Toya didn't get a few the other week, and then some players, if you have a finger on someone when they drop the ball, you get them. I don't know how that's scored. It's a bit strange.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about the Panthers for a second. So Scott Sorensen has competition in the form of Mav Gaia on the edge on the bench. But the real interesting one in this team list for me is Liam Henry. And while he started last week as well and only played 30 odd minutes, they have named a back rower on the bench now and Brad Schneider. So they got Lindsay Smith and Papali'i, who are the only middles on the bench. With Luke Summerton as well playing hooker, so Schneider will replace him. There's a lot of upside in a guy like Liam Henry. His question has never been, does he score well? It's more, how many minutes does he get? And so while I certainly wouldn't be buying this week, he's one to keep an eye on for me. And he's actually part of my round 12 middle plan at the moment. So keep an eye on him.
Might be only two middles on the bench, but they're two very good ones. And there's only minutes available in two positions in the middle because Yeo doesn't give up a fucking second.
Yo plays
So,
80, but Leota only plays about 40. Papali'i's only going to play about 40. And then Lindsay
yeah,
Smith plays 50 to 60.
yeah, so what is that? So that covers most of the minutes still.
Yeah, but there's time, and I think he's really quite their future. Like he's a guy that is going to be there for a long time. They were quite high on him. He came into this season on the back of an injury, so I think he's been slowly building. Look, last year over Origin he averaged 55 from, I think it was
Yeah.
round 12 to round 20. So that's more where the hype is from.
But he can wait, right?
Yeah, like I said, not one to get now, but if you see him start to push 50 minutes, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's PPM monster. Vicious.
yeah. He could be the Toby Couchman of next year, maybe.
But no one else relevant in this game, I don't think. Time to get
And
off
yet-
Jenkins if you have him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking about it because it depends whether I get rid of him or if I get rid of Hopgood. I've got a few shit cunts to get rid of. Oh, I suppose I could hold on to Sandon Smith instead of him. I don't know. I'm really not expecting much out of Jenkins anyway. If I don't trade him this week, I'm definitely trading him next week.
yeah,
Yeah. I will say, though, and this is just entirely anecdotal, is this is one of those picks where I trade him out and he scores a 60 and starts making cash again. So keep in mind that if you aren't trading
Yeah,
Jenkins
that is
out, he's probably guaranteed to score 60 this week, because I am.
fucking. He's getting fuck all ball anyway. I just don't expect much from him. The only thing surviving is the fact that I've got Howarth to get rid of. I probably need to get rid of Hopgood. Fucking, I don't know how much longer I can
no, not with
keep holding
38
him.
minutes.
And so he's still worth something. He's still worth 660 at the moment, and every week I hold on to him, it just fucking gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So it's probably sensible for me to trade out Hopgood to someone like fucking Firma or Lucas or some shit.
yeah,
Yeah, Hopgood's been real sad if you if you owned him. I
Find him the entire fucking year.
Yeah, at least he's not scoring too badly. Like he's still almost a 50 average, right? So things
He's
could be
lost me.
worse.
He's lost me 70k.
Yeah, but look, he could be averaging low 40s or something. But you know,
Hmm.
I think it's time to get off. Actually, maybe this close to Origin, you hold him, given he's almost certainly not playing for Queensland.
well, I wanted to see what he
I
would do
don't
with
have any.
Moses, but in 38 minutes is just
Yeah,
what's that all about?
I don't even know why. Like, that's just ridiculous. He's like their fittest, best fucking forward. Like, I hate that coach. The Eels are making me hate them. And then I brought in Kale Toga, and now I hate him. So I think the Eels what Eels might be my most hated NRL team right now. Sorry, Scoop.
No,
I like
that's
Parra.
fair. Well, you've got Moses the whinge bag back as well, so
Look, to be fair, Luca Moretti had a better game in 30 minutes this week than Hopgood has had all season. So I don't think it bodes all that well for him.
no. Yeah.
No, well, I don't want to keep bleeding cash. It isn't. If he does, it's annoying because he does play round 12 as a middle, and I might not have any middles for round 12 potentially if Horsburgh fucking makes Origin and Watson
Yeah.
makes Origin. I mean, Watson probably will. And
Yeah, I
he probably will.
strongly suspect both of those guys make Origin. It
Yeah.
would, I don't know, Billy Slater's weird, but Horsburgh on form is one of the best middles in the competition, so he should absolutely be in that team. And who's the other player again? Watson. He's the best utility in New South Wales. Like he's a freak. He should be in this side.
He'll be 9
Yeah,
to
yeah,
14 without a doubt. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, not super relevant, but yeah, Gerbo out with concussion protocols. Jazz Tavanga at 13, not really an option.
some of the podcasts are talking about him at the moment
Really? Wow.
in a more positive light than you just did.
He's an option if Gerbo was out long term, but it's 1 week. Like, where's the upside in him?
I don't know.
I mean, if he could maintain a 35 plus minutes in the middle, roll off the bench later, it could work out okay. But anything less than that, and it's just a train wreck. Because he's 330, he's not. It's 30k over 300. It's you want you like your cash outs being a bit cheaper than that, eh?
Yeah, and I think in a season like this where we have so much cash, and even over Origin, is we're not going to have to find a lot of money to buy a plan correctly. Is you need to be really careful with the guys you're trading in, because if you fuck up and you trade in Jazz Tavanga and he makes like 40k over 5 weeks or whatever, it's such a wasted trade. When other guys like Yongi's turning around and he's making cash at the moment, as an example, so you'd be better off just holding someone like him. And like trades are going to be the problem come late season. It's not going to be cash. We all have so much cash right now. Guys like Dylan Egan who are turning into full keepers. Toby Couchman's made 200k. Other guys that have just absolutely rocketed up in value. And the cash isn't going to be the issue. So you need to be really careful with the guys you're looking at trading in. If they don't make sense or if they're not going to make a lot of money, then I wouldn't push just because you need a cash out for someone like Jazz Tavanga.
Yeah, so other podcasts I think have been giving fucking bad advice about trades, and that they keep on saying, "Oh, because this year trades are going to be easier because fucking the minor buyers you don't have to blah blah blah." They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. What year has having enough trades ever been easy? I've played for over a decade. There's no time when it's easy. It doesn't happen. Just those couple of rounds are just going to be a bit easier, but. We're burning through trades as much as we ever have before.
Yeah, and
it's
on
going to
that
be the
point,
same as every year.
On that point, the buy rounds are not going to be that easy. We've already discussed there are basically zero relevant middles for at least 12. Like obviously Couchman is for 15 and 18, but it's going to be tough to navigate these buy rounds. And then if you get guys like Haas and May that aren't backing up, you're going to struggle to even put 13 on the field. So you need to be really careful with the trades you're making and not just forcing in whatever guy's getting a 2-3 week window just because he's going to make 100k in a couple of weeks. Like you need to be making sure with your trades at this point that they are contributing to your overall strategy, because it's well and good you may be able to field 13 players on a minor buy round, but they might all be rubbish. And it's not, you don't trade in guys just for the sake of trading in guys, right? You need to be trading in guys that are going to do a job and that are going to average well while they're in your team.
Yeah, exactly. That's true about the quality of guys that you want in for the buy covers. Like someone might go, "Oh, well, I need around 12 hooker, so Jazz would be good." But then Jazz, what then comes around 13? Oh, fucking Jazz is like a fucking 30-minute fucking bench player that's fucking scoring 25s. Like, oh, cool. So
Yeah.
you held him all that time for that 25 in round fucking 12. Oh, wicked.
In a
Yeah,
year
exactly.
where basically you absolutely want to have maximum players playing all 6 of them major and minor buys, the only way to make good ranks during it is to have really high quality players.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's something. It's not a like for like, but last season, think back to when everyone held Nathan Cleary for 3 rounds at the start of the year. Anyone that traded
5,
him instantly got ahead.
Nightmare.
And so if you're
5.
doing that, if you're doing that this season and you're holding Origin guys just because, they're season keepers, whatever, but they're only scoring you, let's say, 40 points on average a week because they miss games here and there, then you're better off just trading them for guys that are going to score 50 every week throughout the whole buy period. So that's when you're going to want to have the trades and the quality and your decisions become important. Like it's been pretty cruisy up until this point, I will say. Almost every cash cow has made a lot of money, and there've been very few overly bad decisions that have bit people. So yeah, that period's going to be really hard to navigate. So have as many trades as you can coming into the box.
Yep.
Yep.
I like that. All right. Where are we up to? We're up to the Sunday games now, aren't we? Raiders v Dolphins.
Raiders Fins.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So very, very similar looking teams. Zach Hosking is again on the interchange. Smithies is starting at 13. I think that might have been a late switch last week. Hudson Young has just scored his 3rd double in a row, which is amazing if you're one of the very few people that own, but he's 800k, don't do it. On the Dolphins side, Felice Kafusi is out injured. Mark Nichols is going to lock instead. And Francis Molo, after that Dragons shenanigans, is making his club debut at prop. So, yeah, Plath is hooker instead of 13.
Plath's going to be getting interesting. I know here's Thorsky's boy. He's at 652 at the moment with a break even of 72. If I pass on Aaron Clark now, because then I'll be passing on him forever. But Max Plath, after a couple more price drop, could fill that same role and perhaps be safer, do you think?
I like Plath a lot. And with that score last week, he's going to come into a territory like almost the opposite of Max King, right? He's going to be a buy at the right time of the season as opposed to being too expensive at the wrong time of the season. So,
Yeah.
if he doesn't make Origin, he'll be a lot of people's either hooker or mid come round 12, I suspect.
Yeah, I really like it. He's one of those guys, along with Fifita, and now maybe even Jaden Campbell, based on some recent news that we thought he was going to be gone for ages with a pretty decent injury, and now all of a sudden he's there or not far off. So it's a bit all over the place this year. But if he plays and keeps doing what he's doing, well, he'll probably drop to low 600s, and then that's a really good pickup, especially with Hooker being a bit ordinary outside of Watson.
It does make it a bit easier to fade Clark.
And he's a jet. He's someone that I bought. I think it was the first buy round last year, and he ended up finishing in my side and scoring really strongly for the whole year. So I have an affinity towards the little nugget. I do really like Max Plath. So yeah, he's definitely a great option for round 12. Wouldn't do it. Obviously, don't do it this week. Hopefully, he drops in price a bit. But certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yep, love that.
That's about it from the Finns. I mean, Herbie's expensive as fuck, but get him if you want. Fucking,
yeah.
I won't.
So I remember at the start of the year in preseason, I was saying, you know what, Katoa, if he goes to the next level, he's going to be a good fantasy buy. I don't think anyone did it, myself included, but he's really having a year this year. He looks so good.
Yeah,
except for the fact that Humphreys went insane. He's now made like a fair bit of money and is averaging 54.6.
Yeah, he's gone to keeper status. I don't know whether he can keep that up, but he's certainly playing well.
Yeah, I still wouldn't talk anyone out of buying him now, even. He's probably not my favourite half, but he's definitely a viable option.
No, but he'd be an interesting pod to like a Fogarty, for example. Like if everyone has Fogarty and he goes down and you're the only bloke with Katoa and Katoa's pumping out 55 every week, then you're laughing, really.
I think I'd probably prefer to wait a week and get Burton, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Very fair.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's
he's a little
probably
bit more expensive than Burton now. So
Yeah, he is. That's probably about it from the Finns. You guys going to play Tamale this week?
He will be in my loop, I think.
I think so too. With Kartoga on the bye, it's very easy to loop him and probably I'll probably think about like him and Jenkins or Nwanga Nidwaza on the wing, something like that.
I'd have Jenkins at 21st man.
Yeah, Jenkins is not in my team anymore, but
Yeah.
Look, I think Tamale showed this week just how good he is. I swear he had more tackle busts than they gave him. He was electric, and hopefully the Raiders were actually giving him ball close to the line, not in the traditional way where you'd pass it to your winger, but he was like doing these unders runs where he'd come back in and they'd almost drop it off to him like he was a back rower. That he was running at the 5'8" in the center. If they do more of that, this guy's going to score a lot of tries this season. And he showed us how good at breaking tackles he is. So he's not the worst play, but it's a big reason why I didn't trade him last week and why I'm not going to trade him until after Canberra's first bye at least.
When's their first bye? Is it round 15?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the first, second major bye.
15.
Which is crazy. They're playing like 14 straight games where they've been to Vegas and Perth and Darwin, like all over the shop. To not have a bye in the first 14 weeks is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
he's
they go
quite
15,
handy.
19, 24. So close together at the end of the year instead of the start of the year.
Who do you think will score? Rank these players towards who you think will get the most points this week. Hoya, Toa, and Tamale. Because I imagine a lot of people are having to figure out which combo out of these guys to be playing, including myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Toya versus Dragons.
Is he running
Toa
at
versus
Holmes,
Sharks.
Toya's one for me. I think it's a good matchup. And having Mark outside him, I think he might actually get more ball this week as well. Toa and Tamale, though, I don't know. There's a big part of me that thinks what Toa has done this season has been massively fluky. Like, I wouldn't even hate the idea of trading Toa out this week if it allowed you to do something that you otherwise couldn't do by trading out like a Jenkins or a Katoga, for example. But it's a coin flip. I think whoever scores a try out of those two teams, I'd take Tamale just on matchup. Because they're playing the Finns, who aren't as good defensively as Cronulla, and Cronulla are quite strong out wide. But I think that's a genuine coin flip.
Look, I think I'm going to do a double loop this week between Savala, Tamale, and Toa. And Jenkins can just sit on 21st man and not be involved.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, Tamale's ghost on the wing only lasted 1 week. Jenkins is all the time.
They actually speak really highly of Tamale as well. I can't remember who I was listening to, but they basically said this guy is not playing like a 3-game rookie. Like, he's playing like a seasoned first grader. He's amazing in yardage sets, and they've started giving him more ball. So I think he has a very bright future. I wish he'd offload, though. Like, there's been a few times where he's had the arm free, but either no one to offload to or was just trying to do his job and hold the footy.
Yeah,
because he could be like a mini Kiraz.
Fogarty's still a buy. Obviously, he was a buy last week, and he's only 10k more expensive now. So he's definitely still a buy option. You got a few options at half, but
Yeah, he's.
Yeah,
I
I
reckon
mean-
he's the most consistent scorer in the comp. To be honest, he's scored 160, 140, and all the rest have been mid 50s.
65 to balance out the 41 as well. He's
Yeah.
almost like perfectly balanced. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about Fogarty. He's not exciting to own, but he's almost
no,
a guaranteed
he's really
55
not.
points every
He's
week.
like the opposite to Carrez.
Yeah. He's like the Aiden Tolman of halfbacks. You know, he's going to make 40 tackles a game and probably run for 100 meters. But outside of that, not much else. Like most of his try assists are off the boot. So they're like just 5-point try assists. Doesn't offload, doesn't really tackle bust.
Oh no, he's got a decent passing game as well.
Yeah, but
He's
it's
got people through holes.
more before the line. I don't know. He's all right. He's obviously a good fantasy option.
He gets a good amount of try assists anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. He's got a great boot.
One of the best in the comp.
For sure. Did you see that spiral
And he's
he
such
put up?
and a busy and solid defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Phil Sammy got up and was like, "What do you expect me to do when the guy puts a bomb up like that?" Like, there was no way he was ever catching that bomb. It was crazy.
And keep holding Horsburgh. Yes, his minutes have been low, but he's still scoring fine. And it's like how I said earlier about White, in that fantasy gives you enough problems without fucking inventing problems in your own mind. Horse is averaging mid-50s, and he has been the whole year. And until he fucking stops doing that, then shut the fuck up and stop complaining about things that aren't happening.
Similar with
He's
Nicholson,
almost
to be honest. It's like, oh,
Huh?
he's still playing 80. If Hosking does push him out of minutes, then you worry about it. For now, he's still scoring fine.
Yeah, when someone's in there scoring 50s, just shut the fuck up and enjoy it.
Yeah. So the only person that might be more consistent than Fogarty is Horsburgh. His scores are basically the same, like 53, 53, 54, 56, 57, 58,
He's getting
148
better.
in there. His PPM the last 2 weeks has been incredible. Like he's been on
Yeah.
40 points at halftime both games. His minutes have dropped, but until his scores start dropping as well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried. Obviously,
think-
if he plays Origin, trade him out in round 12.
Yeah.
But
The play
him.
with Horse is clear. Hold him till round 12 and then see if he's named. And if he's named, at that point, fucking sell him. If he loses any money, it's going to be simple. It's probably.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to hover around. Like he won't drop under 650. He'll just probably hover around about where he is at the moment. Maybe
Yeah,
a
I
little
think so.
more. Like, yeah, it's fine.
I mean, look, he could have a 30 in him at some point, but that'll probably be because he's got himself sent off or sim binned or something stupid.
You can say that about any player as well. Like,
No, exactly right. I'm just, throwing out possibilities.
I just get annoyed when I see fucking people like commenting going, oh, is it time to start thinking about getting rid of Horsburgh? He's not playing enough minutes. Is it? Just got 54. Fuck up, you loser.
Well, that's when you end up doing a Butters and trading out Garrick for Bo Firma when he's been moved to the Senators and scores 22 weeks in a row. Like, don't create problems that aren't there until they're there.
Yeah, because that's why I can't hang around places like the sort of like the amateurs Discord and places of public Discords and Facebook pages for very long, because I just get frustrated with people saying rubbish like that, and I don't want to be around it.
Well, I mean, the thing you need to understand is that most people that play this game to
retard?
make trades every single but also they play the game to make trades all the time. And if they're not trading, they're bored. Like, what's the point of playing the game if I can't trade every week? So they come up with ideas to get rid of players too early just so that they can trade, It's half the fun of the game. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be doing it, certainly.
No.
There you go.
No other Raiders we want to talk about?
No, Starling's got 60 plus minutes the last couple of weeks, so just wait on him.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully Hosking has a few more lower scores, and then I don't know, Nicholson or Hudson Young has a injury or something. I know it's bad to wish injuries on players, but hopefully we get a cheap
We all
and starting
secretly
Hosking at some
do.
place.
We all
Yeah.
secretly do. People like to virtue signal and say what you just said, but fucking deep down, when something an injury severely really benefits you, fucking deep down
No,
inside, you're
of
like,
course.
yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's more the I don't
Let's be honest,
specifically
let's be
mean
honest.
on one player. Like I don't want Nicholson or Hudson to get injured, but I'd love for a Raiders back row to get injured so Hosking gets more minutes. It's not directed at either of them.
Directed at the jersey.
Yeah, exactly. It's directed at the bloody number 12.
Unless it's someone that you don't like.
Yeah, fuck Ruben Garrick.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, what are you going to do that for?
Just don't like the bloke.
What did he do to you?
He's just a prick, mate.
In what way?
Just watch him play, mate. He's a massive cat, lies down for every penalty. Just he doesn't want a bar of it unless Manly are like all on top of the team.
Okay.
Anyway, fuck Garrick. I don't think there's anyone else relevant in this game.
Nah, I don't think so. So we'll move on to the last one of the week. West Tigers v Sharks at Leichhardt. So, surprise, another one of those long-term, not long-term things. Lockie Galvin is back, and Adam Dewey slides straight back to centre, which is a massive pain for the 200 and I think it was about 25% of top teams bought him, and weren't able
Just
to back out.
some people's trades locked, like they could, some people couldn't reverse it. Luckily, I could. Well, it wasn't that lucky because I just ended up getting Caltoga instead, which is even worse.
I had this funny inkling that this week would be a weird one for some reason. Like with the couple of 4-week injuries popping up, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna reverse this trade so that I can turn Seyfarth into Dewey and leave it late. And I'm far out. I'm glad I did.
That's what I had as well, which is why I was able to reverse it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't understand how important it is to do trades in the right order and setting your team properly until shit like this happens. Because, I mean, it's not a problem until it's a problem, right? Almost exactly like what we were just talking about with players. That's why you do things correctly, so that when problems happen, you're ready to make a decision or a late change.
Just little things like that, or changing your players' positions as they come up to play. For example, if you've got Egan sitting on your interchange and the game's about to kick off, you're playing him. He's on your interchange bench, and you've got an open second row slot still there. You want to move him into the second row slot so that you maintain your flexibility using your bench. It's just little things like that where order of things does matter, eh?
Exactly. And another example is Toby Couchman, right? Even if he plays an early game, he has mid and edge dual. So unless you have another mid and edge depth player, you'd almost want to have him on your bench in probably slot 1 because he covers both of those spots should there be like a late out or something. So just something that you need to keep an eye on with the way you set your side. Like you said, if they're a single position player like Dylan Egan and they play in the second game of the round, they should be in your starting side. Absolutely.
Well, just if they're in your 17, when they go to play, slide them into the 13 because that way you're killing the spot, the starting spot, rather than killing an interchange spot because the interchange can be subbed to any position. Whereas if you leave them on the interchange and just lock that off, there's no advantage to doing that.
Yeah. And JC sort of said the only exception. If they're dual and you got no other option, leave them there. But if it's just that position, just put them in. It's just so much more flexible.
Yeah, there's too many coaches out there that are too fucking simple-minded and think, he's not worth as much money as that guy, or that guy averages more than him. That means that guy has to be in the 13, and he's in the look at the interchange. So that's not how to think. It's how a lot of people do think, but it's only because they don't fucking know better.
Yeah, I don't think it's how I think it's just more, it doesn't occur to you until it happens, right? Until you need to reverse your Adam Dewey trade at the last minute.
Yeah, these are sort of things you got to learn quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the fuck is Galvin back in this team?
I don't know. There's been more and more stuff slowly trickling out. It's like, oh, is it him? Is it his dad? Are they both? I just don't know anymore. And to be honest, I'm very surprised that he's not gone, or still won't be surprised if he's out of the whole club within like a few weeks. But
I think what's probably happening is the Tigers probably know that he's going to end up gone, and I think the Tigers will probably want something in return. So, like, I think the best option to them is going to be to try and pick up some sort of fucking player
They
trade.
need a back rower. They need someone to replace Alex Seyfarth. Then there was a trade tossed up with I think Kai Pearce-Paul from Newcastle. Knights get
I
Brown
heard
from
that
Para,
rumour.
Galvin goes to Eels, and then Pearce-Paul to the Tigers, which would make sense for all involved. I mean, I wouldn't want to get rid of Kai Pearce-Paul.
I don't know. Pearce-Paul's sort of on the short end of that stick.
No, exactly right. Right? Arguably the Tigers are a better team than Newcastle at the moment, but
yeah, but he's already got an 80-minute gig. Fucking, how does going to the Tigers benefit him? It just means he has to fucking move house.
No, that's very fair. Look, the chat around Pearce-Paul has been that Tigers and Raiders are very interested in him, and while Newcastle want to keep him, I don't know. It's Ricky Stewart. I don't know. He sees everyone as a
he won't end up at the Raiders.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the chat is that he's probably not all that likely to stay at Newcastle, and Tigers are one of the teams interested anyway. So the rumor
he's
might
happy
be
to go to Tigers. If he wants to move to Sydney, then it'll be fine. It's just I wonder what he thinks about it. Like it's not like the NBA fucking where fucking
no
clubs can trade players to whoever the fuck they want. Like he does get a say in this.
He's not going to wake up one day and they're going to be like, "Here you go, mate. Here's the orange
bags,
black jersey. Yeah, say hi to Jerome for me."
How far is Newcastle from Sydney?
3 hours.
Oh, yeah, so you're definitely moving house.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some players that, like for example, come from the coast to Sydney to train. They're long days, but it does happen. But Newcastle to Sydney is a long way.
Yeah, no, you're not doing 3 hours each way. Fuck that.
No,
that's too much.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, well, short of. Well, I guess nothing really changes now for guys like Luai and everything, because Luai's scoring terrible. If there had been a shift, maybe there would have been some interest, but it's not that time of year. Trell May remains Trell May. Seyfarth needs to get out of my team. Toa?
Yeah, look, I can't see Galvin being in the team for long. I don't know if this is just because Latu Fainu isn't fit or because they genuinely want him back in the team. Everything that happened last week suggested to me that he wasn't going to play for the Tigers again. And then they got belted by Parramatta and he instantly came back in the team. So a lot can change in a week. I would have thought after he served them with like a legal notice that they wouldn't have picked him, but they still have.
I wonder if that's got something to do with it.
Oh, I don't know, maybe. There's who was it?
It's more, see, you're not being bullied, we're picking you.
Oh dear. But yeah, I think there was something with Latu Fainu. It was supposed to be like a while, and then it was only like 3 or 4 weeks, and there's chatter now that I think, didn't Benji say he was only like a week or something away now?
Yeah, he said a week or two away, and he's not even in the 22, so it won't be this week. Maybe next week. I don't know is the answer. The Tigers are a basket case. The Galvin stuff, it has a real chance of derailing their season. Like there is a good chance that they're just going to go off the rails and everything's going to go to shit.
It sounds like that. Like the shit I've been reading about like Galvin's dad and what he's been up to. Fucking sounds like the club of fucking bunch of fucking pushovers. Because if he was carrying on like that, why wouldn't the club just go, "Okay, you're banned from the ground"?
No, that's absolutely fair. Which is why I don't really trust any random rumors like that.
One of the things reckoned that in the middle of half time, like is Galvin's dad got into the sheds and started berating Benji Marshall in front of all the players. I can't see why Benji would fucking put up with that. Benji would have. You'd think you'd be like, get the fuck out of here right now and don't come back to this ground again. I don't care if you're his dad. You ain't fucking welcome here, you cunt.
Yeah, if that happened, there's no way he would be allowed in or around the Tigers' sheds ever again.
Yeah. They wouldn't have a bar of him. So I do wonder.
I find that very hard to believe.
So do I.
That one is like, mate, Benji seems relaxed. I don't know if he'd be so relaxed so as to just cop a spray from a player's dad. Like, come on, man.
I'd just turn around and be like, do you want a fucking hiding cunt? Shut up, you old fucking fat prick. Just because you didn't fucking manage to make it as a rep footy player.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going to happen
So
here.
now you want to live vicariously for your son? Get the fuck out.
I think the safe bet is to just avoid everyone in this game that's not Terrell.
Yeah.
Nico Hines for the second week in a row has gotten off to an absolutely blistering start, only to end on like a mid-50 score. He was on 40 points in 40 minutes and then finished on 56 somehow. I don't get it. What's happened to this guy?
He watched.
I'd just rather Fogarty or Burton, eh?
Yeah, I'd rather get Burton as well.
If you want to end up getting Nico, just his process just slowly going down. Just wait until round 12 and then just see how much he is at that point and what the fuck's happening.
Yeah, so I'll say about him and Cronulla in general is that they've got a pretty decent bye schedule for overall, and they're one of the only teams in the comp that has a lot of good players where none of them play Origin, like maybe Cam McInnes, but no one else in this team is even a chance at the Origin team, I'd say. Like Nico's in the fucking shadow realm as far as the Blues are concerned.
He's not going to be getting picked, no.
So, like, if they're putting out a full strength squad every week against teams that are hit by injuries or hit by Origin players, then he's going to score well because he's basically playing against reserve graders. But like you said, I'd wait till round 12 to do something like that.
AFB, not this week, but by round 12, AFB could potentially be an interesting middle option to pick up for the buys.
He's one of the best options, I think, for buy rounds. Bit worrying that he only scored 44 with a try this week.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be doing it now. It's sort of like, I guess it's like what I said with Nico. It's probably one where you just wait till round 12 and then if it looks like a go at that point, then go for it. I think you'd want to probably wait until you've got a 6 in front of that number rather than a 7, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, his minutes aren't there at Cronulla. 42 against Manly, 43 against the Knights. I think he is carrying some sort of injury, but not major. But even then, apart from the 70 minutes against the Bulldogs, where I think they had a few injuries, 55 is the most minutes he's played. Whereas at the Warriors, he was playing 60 plus almost every game. So it suggests that he won't keep up this PPM.
That's a wait and see anyway.
Yeah.
That's probably about it from this round then, I suppose, unless you think there's anyone we've missed.
No, not really. Nikara's base is useless this year without try, so he's not a consideration at the moment. Who we think of the captain?
There's so many nice edges.
Yeah.
Captain for me is, it's probably just going to end up being May because I don't love Haas against the Bulldogs. I think they'll shut him down. Manly are a weird side. I don't like captaining people against Manly because those games tend to be a lot lower scoring fantasy wise. So that kind of just leaves Terrell May. And while I'm not excited about Terrell May versus a team with a middle as strong as the Sharks, it's probably just the logical option that's left over, unless we think Payne Haas is going to play 70 minutes against the Dogs.
I think that he'll just play big minutes. I reckon he'll be the man. I've captained him every week since round 2, and it's fucking steered me pretty well.
Yeah, but you don't have Haas, right?
No, I don't. But even if I did have Haas, I'd be going May anyway. I do have Cleary.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like the matchup for Cleary, even though he is somewhat matchup proof. When we have two guys that are averaging 70 plus,
I do like it. I do like a Sunday captain as well.
Brings
Well,
the
there you go.
ranks home.
Yeah, that's why I like it. And it's all and it's a day game, and like Tigers love a Sunday game. It seems, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think May's floor is
Tigers
just
and
so good at the
Whites.
moment. He's played 70 minutes his last 4 games and scored 380s.
Yeah, so I'm going to go May captain and Preston vice captain. He's plays in the first game and is good enough to vice captain.
Yep, that's what. I'm doing Haas vice captain and May.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
There you go. Good stuff.
Just before we log out, do you guys have your trades locked in yet?
No. At the moment, I'm doing Jenkins to drink water, but that could well change. I don't know who for. That's likely going to be my only trade, but there's an option, right? Like I could maybe trade out Toa for someone if I can find cash. But with the Fifita news, I'm probably just going to hold him this week and see how he goes. Even if he doesn't play, he can't be far off if he's named on the bench. So just Jenkins to drink water at this point.
At the moment, I've got Howard, Sandin, and Hopgood out for Lucas, Savala, and Carrez, but not fully locked
Very
in yet.
nice. I'm probably going
Um, I-
Jenkins to Savala and Grant to Lucas or Carraz.
What are you doing with
suppose
the
I-
rest of your money then?
Yeah. I could also see that's the problem. I don't know if I want to trade Campbell yet with that extra news. And he's so
He's
much money as
expected
well.
to be a month, right?
Yeah, but there's also things popping up after the game where there's a couple of sources coming through the NRL physio and stuff where he gets his mail that it could only be a week or two now. I just don't know what's going on.
That's fair. Des did say 4 weeks for Fifita, and he's named
Yeah,
5 days
exactly.
later.
Yeah.
So you don't really know. But look, what I heard about Campbell was not promising.
No.
So yeah, I'll pick him back up in round 13. Absolutely, he's basically a must in wing fullback. But I'm happy to jump off someone that expensive who's out for 4 weeks,
Yeah.
allegedly.
I suppose I could keep Sandin and ditch fucking Jenkins. Sandin might outscore him. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Something about Roosters Dragons games where I just feel like they're always high point scoring fantasy games.
Yeah. And for that reason, plus the fact that I don't know how Nawangani Dwase goes on the wing yet, that'd probably be like my other trade option. I can move somebody around to get Savala, and then I've got 4 Roosters. So would I want to get rid of one of them shortly? I don't know.
Well, who do you have? It's
I
White,
got White,
Savala.
Markey, and Toya at the moment, and thinking about
Mm.
Savala because he's a great cash down.
Yeah, that's tough because I look, the Roosters have probably the most fantasy relevant team in the NRL, which is why I'm waiting on like James Tedesco. So that's a tricky one. I don't know what I'd do there. You wouldn't want to have 4 players on a bye in the same round.
Oh, absolutely not. I'd say with them having 2 matches and then the bye, I will almost certainly be selling one of them in that bye. And I'll wait until it happens.
I wouldn't necessarily be against trading Toya in round 10, to be honest, depending what he does in the next 2 rounds.
See, I was about to say the exact opposite. I was about to say surely Toya is just a hold through all the buys.
It'll be Toya or Nawa. I'd say it's more likely Nawa, but Nawa had a good score and can push himself another 20, 30k up before then.
Yeah, I mean, you need to.
Toya's nothing special. I mean, he's sitting there just under 40, but so are all these cheap centres. Like,
I mean, he's a 40 average
Tamale,
centre with the best buy schedule.
Tamale is as well, so is Toya.
Yeah, but Toya plays all 3 major buys. Tamale has a random buy in the middle of it, and Toya's buys are then like in between the minors and the majors, which is just, it's so good because you only have to worry about the Roosters. Which at that point
but
you should only really have like him and maybe Tedesco and
the
White,
right
I
move is
guess.
probably just trading Watson in round 10. But if I do that and he doesn't get picked for Origin, I'm going to be so fucking upset.
Yeah, I think you want to hold on to Watson for as long as possible. On the off chance that he doesn't make Origin, he then becomes maybe the best player in the game over
Well,
the
see,
bye period.
that's the problem. All these Roosters guys we're talking, we can label them all as holds, but you can't hold them
That's
all.
fair.
Standard, I'll definitely ditch before round 10 without a doubt. And that's the annoying thing about fucking Savala is you're going to have to carry him through it, or else there's no point in buying him.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have that many Roosters, so it's not that big of a problem. But yeah, some teams are
Because
going
you
to
don't
have
have
to make big
Wong.
decisions. Or White.
No, I don't
or
have White
Watson.
either. But, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, which
Anyway,
look,
we'll
I
probably-
would have rather start with Watson, but I haven't.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, I suppose we've probably waffled on long enough now. You reckon, boys?
Yeah.
yeah, we're drifting off a bit.
Make three
Yeah.
trades, and don't force them. Make the ones that make sense.
Yeah, I think we delivered a bit of insight this episode, boys. Educational for once.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. That'll do
All
us
right. Well,
for
cheer the
this week.
fucking boys. Oh, wait. Who's shit can of the week?
Ooh, I think
Was
it
it
was
Adsky?
Adsky. Yeah, I think it was Adsky. And Rudley was
and
top.
Rudley with the king of the week.
Yeah,
Boo.
huge score, 11:09.
I was shocked. I honestly thought I was going back to back. Like, and then I look at Rudley and he's got 11:09. Crazy.
Fucking, Rudley's up to third place in the Podcasters League now, and you've got a nice healthy lead in first spot. King of the podcast.
Yeah. I was first in round 1, and then I dropped to 7th after the Cleary captain debacle, and now I think I've been 1 the last 2 weeks. So I'm
Good
back.
stuff. Fantastic.
Who's coming last? NRL, FA, Josh Lang. So someone from amateurs is coming last. And I'm beating Butters at least. I'm beating Butters and I'm beating Jessup, so that's positive. All right, anyway, let's fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
Catch you
All
next
right,
week.
cheer the fucking boys.